Welcome back. Well, currently going on up at UCI, the Claire Trevor School of the Arts, is a play until December 10th. It's called Intimate Apparel. And I'm really happy to have on today the lead actress for that production, Ariel Brown. Ariel,
Hi,
welcome.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Nice to see you. And Jane Page, who is the director. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Who has been with us before.
Yes.
And great to have you both on today. We were talking a bit beforehand, and I had mentioned I had never heard of this before. I read the synopsis, but I'm going to talk to Jane first, and you were off camera giving me the background of this production. So why don't you tell us about that?
Well, Lynn Nottage is a really well-known and important American playwright, and this play was first produced and commissioned by South Coast Repertory Theater and Center Stage, which is in Baltimore, in 2003. The play was written at that point, and it went into both of those theaters, and then went to New York for a time, and then did the regional theater circuit.
So the play itself, you were saying that is parts of it are based on a true story.
Yes, Lynn Nottage went back to her own heritage and looked at, I believe it was her grandmother, and her grandmother's finding the love of her life through a correspondence with a man from the Panama, who was working on the Panama Canal. And so that's the genesis of this relationship and of the heart of the play.
All right, but so it was original. It wasn't based on a book or something, an old play that was revamped or anything. That's amazing.
Yeah,
so
and
it's on its home turf in a sense. Wow.
And Lynn Nottage at one point in her career worked at Amnesty International, and her plays really are interesting because, well, for many reasons, but one is the intersectionality of different people in a place.
Yeah, that is great. I love the fact that it started, part of it at least started here, at least the cooperation.
Absolutely.
So, Ariel, you are a third-year graduate student.
Undergraduate student.
Undergraduate, excuse me, undergraduate student, which means you have one more year.
I do,
Have you been going to UCI this whole time?
Yes. Yep,
and the program there is just stellar, isn't it?
Amazing, yes. All of the faculty is wonderful. This is actually my first time that I've been working with Jane in such a close personal relationship, which has been incredible. I'm a musical theater student, so I work with some of the other musical theater faculty more closely than just the acting faculty, but I've been able to work with Jane on this play for this production.
That's
and
great.
It's been amazing.
Are you local?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you grew up in this area and decided to go?
Not quite in Irvine. No, I actually was born in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And then my family moved here in like 2009, 2010. And then we went to Burbank and sort of floated around and ended up in Santa Clarita.
Okay.
In like the Valencia area. But now I live out here and go to school here.
All right.
Yeah.
So what attracted you to this play? I mean, when I read the synopsis of it, I love the fact of sort of the historical part of it, but I also like the fact that there's somewhat of deception going on. Am I right? Or as it says here, misrepresentation on both of the lead characters. Right.
Yeah. One of the major plot points is that Esther, my character, is really looking for intimacy and looking for this man to sort of, be this dream that she's been looking for. She's 35, hasn't married, hasn't done anything else with that. And Mrs. Dixon, I think we have a little bit of a segment on Carol Foreman. She's our guest performer for this production. She's an equity actress and is amazing. But she comes in and is like, Esther, why aren't you, coming down and meeting with the potential suitors and things? And Esther just hasn't found that right person. And so with George, who is Chris Montz's character, she's really looking for him to be that one. And because of that, so much of that want, there's a little bit of deception, not really purposely. It's just that she doesn't know how to read or write, so she has the women that she sews intimate apparel for, like corsets and things.
Interesting.
She has them write her letters for her, and in that do they
embellish a bit?
They do.
Okay.
They do. Yes.
All right.
Which is where sort of that deception comes from.
Now this takes place in 1905. So obviously somebody who's 35 years old and not married by that age in 1905 is pretty much considered a spinster or
Yes,
something, right?
yeah, yes.
And people are going, what's wrong with you?
Right,
Not
exactly.
so much today, they're going, why are you marrying so young?
Yes.
But, you know, it's a whole different thing,
Yes,
right?
totally different.
Yeah.
Because as I was mentioning before, Mrs. Dixon, Carol Foreman's character, is the leader of the rooming house that Esther's been living in for 18 years. And so it's like all of these people have come in and gone out, and Esther's just been there. So she's like, what's wrong with you? Exactly.
And
So,
Esther's
yeah.
a seamstress who longs
is.
to have her own business,
Beauty
right?
parlor, uh-huh.
Yeah. Is part of that she's looking to marry somebody to maybe bring in a little money? Is that written into it, or is it more about romance?
I think it's more about romance, because Esther, she puts money into her quilt, and our quilt is like is a character in the show itself. But she's settled and like has her own means and has everything she really needs besides that human connection. Yeah.
So the lead actor is Jane, who plays the lead actor, and the character is George Armstrong.
Right. Chris Monza, who is a second-year MFA directing student, acting student, who's just terrific in the role. It's a cast of 6, and Ariel is the only undergrad. And then, it's a real treat. Yeah. And then 4 grad students, and then Carol Foreman, as Ariel mentioned, is our guest artist from the community.
So looking at these photos here, is the first one on the top left there, is that Carol Foreman?
No.
That's Nicole Cowens. She's a third-year MFA acting student.
Okay.
Yes, and she plays Mamie, my best friend in this show.
Okay.
She's incredible.
And obviously we see the character George Armstrong here. And the top one, you're in like a dress shop or something?
Yes. The man behind me, his name is Mr. Marks in the play, but the actor who plays him is named Gavin Mueller.
Okay.
He's a second-year MFA acting student as well. He's in the same class as Chris. And Mr. Marks sells Esther the fabrics and things that she uses to create the different garments that she's making.
So, Jane, as far as directing this, this has been, as you were telling me, a very well-received production with some top people that have been in some of these roles. So taking on this as a director had to have been a bit daunting to kind of live up to this. It's a local where it started. You were telling me some of the actors that have played this, and this production just seems like it's at the ready to go even further than it is right now. I mean, to the point where it could be a movie or something like that one day.
Well, one would think that it would be. It's a terrific story and a terrific time to be telling the story, because all of these people in the play come to New York. There are no native New Yorkers, and they're all coming there looking for intimacy of some sort. And what I really think is intriguing is that intimacy is surprising. It often occurs in life in places you least expect it. I did have the privilege of directing this play before in 2006, but I am quite a different person than I was in 2006, and times are quite different.
Yeah.
And the space in the little theater at UCI in the Humanities Hall is a very unique kind of space. And we have wonderful designers, student designers for the most part, and the quilt, which is one of the major characters in the play, was created by Leslie Blau, who is on our staff, who volunteered to make this extraordinarily detailed quilt for the show.
Yeah, you can see a bit of it in the corner
that is beautiful. Now the quilt itself you said is like part of the story.
It's a major character.
Okay.
And I don't want to say any more than that.
All right. Well, you know what? Quilts in the past were major characters in people's lives. They told stories, and they were often made of bits of fabric that were collected over time and made into these just beautiful, really, works of art.
Right.
So I can totally understand that.
And I grew up in a family where my grandmother and my mother both had quilting frames always up in the house. So it's really a part of my heart that quilts are great story keepers.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, very much so. So you have been in several productions: Avenue Q, Parade, Evita, Smokefront, and you got one more year at UCI. So this may be pushing things out a little bit, but you have plans beyond that yet, or just
Yes.
finishing up the next 2 years?
I'd love to move to New York after school
okay.
and try my hands at auditioning and such out there. Musical theater is my passion, and so I think that New York has a really great musical theater scene.
Yeah, they do.
So I'd love to go out and audition and just try my hand at it for a little
So
bit.
you've got to keep her here, though.
Well,
Right?
we will be able to say
They got a great
I saw
graduate
her
program
in California.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is not a musical, though, right?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
Is that hard for you?
It's different.
Okay.
It's a different way to prepare because coming in, I've only done two straight plays before I'd done this one, and just preparing for a play is very different than preparing for a musical, because with musicals you learn the songs and it's much more of like a formula, is very
Right.
formulaic, whereas with acting and just straight acting, there's so much. I mean, not more, and more is not the right word, but it's just different. It's a different
Yeah.
way to prepare and a different way to look at character, because you're looking at things that they don't say as
Right.
well as things that they do say. Like in musical theater, everything is sort of displayed out
It
for
is.
you. Yeah, and there's always that I want song is like I dream of this and this is the thing,
Yeah.
you know. But in plays, it's so much more nuanced, in my opinion, especially with Lenadage's work.
Yeah, I think so. I can see the difference. A lot of times in musicals, the songs are the bridge that move
Right.
to the next, move it along, move it to the next scene, in a sense. And so I can see that this is quite different for you, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you're accomplished at it. You've already done how many performances? Two. So this is going on till December 10th, and it's in the little theater there?
Yeah, it's the Little
Okay.
Theater, which is in Humanities Hall. And one thing
Okay.
I would like to add is that if you get online and it said it's sold out, there are always empty seats. There are always going to be tickets.
And we have a special link that Jamie provides for us. It's www.arts.uci.edu/Laguna, and so the residents here are able to get discount tickets.
That's great.
And I noticed yesterday, sometimes it still happens when you're online, that usually you don't have to put the www. It's sort of kind of archaic, but this one I needed to get
Okay.
directly to this. So just
Thank
so
you.
you know that. But you get some discount tickets there, and those are going to continue from the folks at UCI, and it's really nice that they do that. Great to meet you.
It's great to meet you
Good
too.
luck. Hope to
Thank
see you back here. You got another year and a
Yes,
half, so
yes.
we might see you back here in another production, maybe a musical.
Maybe so, yes.
That would be a lot of fun. Jane, good to see you
Good
as
to see
always,
you.
and we'll see you again, I'm
And
sure.
we'll see you at the
Thank
theater.
you.
All right, remember, go online, and if you go to www.arts.uci.edu/Laguna, you get those special discounted seats. We'll be right back. Very good.